recycle the medieval figures that are in the collection. So, while they haven't been played with for years, just with a bit of, well, they'll probably need a bit of TLC because they've been in the cupboard for so long. But apart from that, and rebasing probably, they're all good to go. I mean, figures don't really go off, do they? It's not like, I mean, they
No.
can look a bit dated sometimes, but if you're not bothered with that, then that's fine.
Well,
I think it's probably good though. I mean, you've got that kind of back catalogue. So if any new games or rules come out, you don't necessarily have to go out and start buying and collecting and painting an entirely new army. There's going to be a chance that you've got a collection somewhere that will fit that particular rule set.
Yeah, but of course I'm such a collector maniac that I'll just keep moving to new periods where I need to buy, like a whole brigade of German Napoleonic troops just because just can't be bothered to do anything else. So yeah, in theory, yes, you're right, Steve. And actually in practice, to be absolutely honest, we played a whole load of Hail Caesar down the club for a while, and all those Napoleonics, all those ancients came back out and were used at various times. All the Vikings I had were used, and all the ancient Britons and what have you were reused. So they will be. Just other ones, just I don't know. Some will be used more often. I've got 20 mil Second World War. I can't see me using them again for a long, 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 long time. But
sell them, Dom.
Never.
Sell them, Dom.
No, I'm not going to sell them. They're not being sold. The only figures I sell are genuinely ones that I know I will never ever play. I got rid of all the Games Workshop stuff I bought.
I've joined you.
I actually got a reasonable amount of money for them, and just the odd unit. Like I've just sold some Parthian foot archers, which I painted up, and I just didn't like them, so I sold them. And I sold something else. A couple, when I got the odd unit, I just think I don't really like that unit. I'm not going to use them. I don't like them, so I'll sell them. But that's it, really. But no, I'm bad like that. What about you, Ken? You're ruthless, though, aren't you? You sell everything you don't use.
Sold some last week. Sold some last week. They're getting posted off tomorrow. Just make sure everyone can hear me. Right? Can you guys hear me all right, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I sell figures all the time if I'm not using them, or I don't think I'm going to find an opponent to use them with. Yeah, they go. They are gone. There's only a couple of figures that. Yeah. There's only a few things I don't really want to sell at all, and that'll be my Lord of the Rings stuff and my historicals, because there's always somebody that I think I can play historicals with, and like you guys have said, there's so many different periods, isn't there? For that reason. I look well dodgy, Martin. What you were doing then, mate? You just see the corner of your eye like
the shape of the bottle.
Oh dear.
Well, on that note, someone just said, "Oh, there he is, who paid the ransom to the French."
Yeah, I forgot. I would have stuck it back on tonight, but I've got funky pajama bottoms because I hadn't even had a chance to change. I was just chilling out, but I managed just quickly. You probably see on the stream. I managed to do all those archers, so they're all done now. And the men at arms. Just got one archer left to paint, and then I can finish basing those. But I'm just about to start. You guys have probably done these historical horses for the cavalry. Yeah. Is it best to paint them separately or with the riders? And
I paint them separate because you can just, if they're armored, you can just spray the riders silver and just do that way.
Oh, okay.
And then, Funnily enough, Ken, my video last week on how to paint mounted cavalry, heavy cavalry, might be a bit of a had. If you want, I'll send you a link.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, is it the same sort of like period, or do I paint archers? Because you got mounted archers. I don't know what to do.
I mean, obviously, consult Martin's video. I'm frankly surprised you haven't watched it already. But I mean, I mean, most people will say that to paint cavalry, generally, you should paint the riders separately to the horses. But I have to say, sometimes I'm just a lazy bastard, and I'll just stick them on and paint them on there. But it does make it depends on the figure, to be honest, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, sometimes you can get away with it, and
The
let's be honest,
Napoleonic
there are
stuff I
figures,
paint,
better ones that are stuck together, aren't they? So,
Mm. Wargamers Anonymous
Yeah.
has just jumped in and said hello. It's the man who's responsible for me keep on buying random units to paint. Hello.
It's good, isn't he?
I've got to find something this month to do. I don't have anything that requires I have no skirmishers to paint at all. I'm gonna have to go and like pick something out, and I don't really know what for.
do some 95th rifles, mate. You'll love that.
Oh, I don't need any more of them though. No more of the little horrible green little fit so and so. No more. No more. I was on eBay and I saw someone selling like 25 of them, and I sat there looking and going, "That's quite a good price for that." And I just thought, I just don't want them. This is going to wind me up. But and then Sebastian Allen John says hello. Miller's just said something which he had another question actually, which is probably quite good. But here's one of his quick questions to you all. What do you want to happen to your collections when you eventually kick the bucket? Not to tempt fate or anything, though.
What'll happen to my collections? My missus is selling for a good price.
Mine will be loaded into my longboat when I'm sent off like a Viking funeral.
When you're a fifth of Valhalla.
Yeah.
Yes.
Funny enough, years and years ago, when I was doing the old serious thing of doing a will and everything, I did actually have my collection written into my will, and it was going to be passed on to one of my best mates who I gamed with all the time. But as I've now got older, I'm thinking actually the idea of just having a massive, gaming session where everyone uses as many of my figures as they possibly can, and then sort of has a ritual burning of them would be quite fun. But then I don't know, maybe just selling them for charity. Selling them for charity might be the better and more responsible way of doing it. I don't know. We'll see. What about you?
Mine. I want them to. See, I would have used to say I want them to go to anybody but Haley, who will just bin them. But now that Haley's like used them a couple of times, I have a feeling that she would probably bury me and put the 95th in with me just to annoy me. I'm not sure. I guess I'd want them to go to, I don't know, just a club or someone who's going to get some use out of them, enjoy them. I know a teacher who who said, oh, maybe he would consider doing something in when he's doing lessons, or like he can like actually show like battles. Now I sat there saying I don't remember learning about any battles in history at all. I remember thinking we're going to learn about them, and then getting up to the point we're going to battle, and then you skip over it and go, Henry having won the Battle of Agincourt, then went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just someone who I just like someone who's going to get some use out of them. Hopefully, my daughters. There we go.
No chance of my daughters. My eldest would probably sell them for a profit because she knows how much they're worth, because she's mercenary like that. And I don't blame her for that. That's fine. Oh dear. So what have we got in chat? Let me have a look. Like a bad penny, he turned up. Yeah, he did. You're right.
Sorry.
Ewan and Aaron Lowe says hello, mate. I don't think I've seen you before. Welcome to the madness. Usually we start efficiently with a whole kind of intro and everything else, but Ken couldn't be asked tonight, so it's all done.
You could have phoned me.
Says question for you. Oh, we sent you messages, you fool.
Yeah, I was in the middle of Foy.
So Duncan FX says, question for you: any manufacturers whose models you really love, but their cost puts you off from ever considering buying them? Who wants to take that one?
Go for it.
I'm a bit of a Warlord Games fanboy, so most of my mids are Warlord Games. I don't think maybe I've just not seen that many manufacturers, but in the historical side, so what most of us play, I don't know. I don't think there are any manufacturer I think that their figures were in any way overpriced. I mean, it's not it's not the sci-fi sector, really, is it? So I don't know. No, I'm going to say there isn't.
I really, really like comic books, and I really like Batman, right? And
Batman.
There's a Batman miniatures game by Night Miniatures, and the models look lovely. There are some stunning poses, and they're awesome. And even without not necessarily playing the game, I thought that's a really cool classic Batman jumping in the air with loads of bats around him would just look cool to paint. But I'm not going to pay 60 quid for it. For what? So it's 32. I think they're 32 mil. Yeah, 32 or 35 mil, and it is a very nice model, but I could.
It bloody would have to be for that price.
Yeah,
Jeez.
and that is it. I guess that's something I wouldn't buy. Some of the ones that have put me off, Steve says, some War Machine models have put me off. Because they switched over to this plastic resin stuff that they were using, and for a 5-pack of, say, I don't know, cavalry or just large chunky models, it was close to 50, 55 quid. And and then when there was only out of the 5, there were 3 different poses, a leader and then 2 troopers, and the troopers, there was 2 of them were the same. I thought for 50 quid that was quite a lot. So some privateer press stuff, and then I won't say anything about GW.
Yeah, I'm gonna second that. When I was recently painting my War Machine stuff, I haven't looked at War Machine figures, the cost in years, and I went on various game stores, etc. And some of them I was absolutely shocked by the price. I mean, yeah, some units are 65, 75 quid for a unit of like 15. I'm like, I'm not paying that. That's absolutely insane.
But it's when you start paying for it's because I think a War Machine, you're paying. GW used to do this. I think you're paying for their ability in the game rather than the price of the materials that made them. So it's pay to win, isn't it? Basically, and it's a very, like I say, it's a very. We've said this before when Steve was doing BLT. It's a very aggressive game. You don't need those models. They've got a massive range, but they would help you win some of the stuff.
God, yeah.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? I think it's definitely a fantasy thing as a whole that price is a bit crazy.
It's Forge World.
But you know,
that's all. Forge World, mate. That's all I'll say. Forge
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's largely because those figures, or not Forge World necessarily, but the general sort of fantasy figures are designed for very small games, so they're not like a mass battle. So, like a bolt action or a black powder or anything like that. So you're only probably buying, if you're playing role playing or Dungeons and Dragons or something, you're probably buying half a dozen figures, a dozen figures probably.
Yeah.
So if they're 5-6 quid a pop, then that's probably not going to break the bank, but for anybody really, especially. If you're buying one a month or one a week or something like that, whereas if it was a regiment of 24 figures and they're each £5 a pop, it's a little bit different. So I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
but I'm with you. There's not many that I would consider that ridiculously expensive. That said, like I was saying earlier with my project, I very nearly bought all the offensive miniatures stuff, which aren't that expensive. But when you're thinking about doing, 7 battalions of foot, it adds up. Whereas I could buy a very nice Perry plastics for a fraction of the cost, which is what I ended up doing. So, I don't know.
Yeah, fully metal army is probably the only thing that that would put me off, because, like you say, they are more expensive, aren't they? When you could have a plastic army. For a lot cheaper price, can't you, nowadays? But you do get the uniqueness with metals, don't you? That's what I think, a nice mix of metals and plastic is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. That's what I've done with my 100 Years War stuff. Just a mixture. You can tell which are the metals and which are the plastic, because the metal bowmen bows are about half the size of the plastics. But if I was Steve, I should have kit bashed them, shouldn't I, Steve? Got the plastic, got the plastic arms on there, and done it that way. But
That's the way to go. Regardless of the era, period, conflict, or
Yeah.
what have you, kit bashing is the
Kit
way
bash.
forward.
uniqueness.
Captain Kitbash.
Captain
Someone on
Kit.
the same kind of line who said how Sebastian Allen Johnson said, how much would a playable Black Powder army set you back?
How much are the boxes? The
Hmm.
box sets? They're about
Well, you
70
can
quid,
get-
isn't they?
The Warlord ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the Warlord ones are now geared towards 24-man battalions. Whereas if you do the Perry deal, you get packs of. I mean, how many are in that pack, Dom? 44? 40? 44?
So the one,
Something like
yeah, it's 40.
What?
It's either 42 or 44, depending on which one you go for.
that? Yeah.
For 20 quid.
And then if
So,
you're doing 24-man
uh,
battalions, that's nearly 2 battalions a box. So
Yeah.
Holy
Basically,
shover.
that's what I did with the one box I bought. I've got 2 battalions. 2 battalions out of it, which is
yeah.
pretty good, I think.
And on their deal online, it's free boxes, and you get 3 boxes, a gun, and a commander. I think for 60,
Yeah, that's
60
right.
quid. So that's 6 battalion, basically 6 battalions. Maybe need a couple of extras, and you can have a decent game with two brigades. I've been having games with 2 brigades. And
It's a sense of scale, isn't it? You
Yeah.
can start small, and that's the beauty of it. I think you don't need to have a massive force. Again, I was watching somebody online playing Black Powder. I think it was quite an old video, but he was playing it on quite a small table, so he only had like 2 brigades aside, or 1 brigade on one side and 2 on the other, and it was a really good game. Didn't matter the fact it wasn't a huge army, but it was actually a really good game. So you don't need huge numbers, and you can build it up over time. You don't,
That's it.
have to rush off and buy the whole core from,
Yeah, but we
from-
all do.
from, we all aspire to that, don't we? But
Yeah.
but again, I
absolutely.
mean, one of the things I always say with Napoleonics particularly is you can start, small. So you can start a number of our projects with American War of Independence. We started to build armies that were big enough to fight sharp practice. So
yeah.
probably, I don't know, 50 figures, something like that, which was perfectly manageable, and then expanded it from there into something we could then play Black Powder with. And if you're sensible and you do it over time, it can be quite reasonable. I don't think you need to worry too much.
No.
If you made it metal, that's a different thing.
Yes. That does encroach on the rather tad of the expensive side of the historical things, doesn't it?
Can do, although I firmly believe that metal has come down proportionately in price. I don't think they're anywhere near as much as they were back when I started collecting metals. Because when I started, you could only get metals. There were no plastics apart from Airfix, which you wouldn't use.
No.
It was all metals, and it was considerably more expensive than that. Proportionally to how it is now. I think even they've dropped in price.
It's always a good thing to see, though. Manufacturers doing well, dropping prices, passing it on, and technology advancing and stuff like that, isn't it? It's like these plastics. How many I don't even know how many cavalry are in here. In this box, 12 cavalry I've got. Can't remember how much this was. 20 quid. I'm gathering that's a good deal because realistically, it's 24 figures, really, isn't it? Because I've got 12 horses and 12 men. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it, to be fair. And they're not the easiest things to, I imagine, sculpt, and they take a lot of time, but it's a fair price. I don't mind paying it. But then at the same time, I think they sell 3 metal ones for 6 quid or 7 quid, so 7, 14,
Yeah.
21. So if you want the same sort of price, I think it's a little bit more expensive, but they're metal. But you haven't got the options like you do on the plastic kit. That's the difference.
No.
That's the difference, isn't it? Plastic kit, you got a lot of option. It's definitely one of them.
Yeah, I think. We talked about this before, haven't we? But some people, Steve, love plastics and hate metals. And some people they're quite happy just to use plastics all the time.
Yeah.
And of course, now you got those
I don't know
resin
what-
now that. Sorry.
I don't know what it is about the metal things, because I've got my bolt action Australians, and that is 100% metal. the whole range, and I really enjoyed that. I think that I may have just had been having a special moment when I painted that lot, because after I finished that, I went back to not enjoying Metal Minutes again. So I don't know. I am becoming a bit more open to them, though. I will admit.
Yeah, that's good.
No, definitely. Oh, I've got a new
I will
guy
say
in the
that
chat.
new resin stuff I don't like. I don't like that.
It's a bit
at all.
flex. It's
Sorry,
a bit.
carry on.
No, it's a bit flexible, isn't it? I was just saying, I've got a new guy in my chat. Hello, Rastaman 2009. He's saying he's doing some Aeronautica, which is Games Workshop, and he's also talking about Epic. He can't decide what to do, but now he said he's doing 2 very old Games Workshop Marauder Bombers and 6 Rough Riders. I think that's pretty sure that's either Epic or 40k, but yeah, fair play to him. Nice to have you with us.
Nice. Welcome
Hello.
aboard.
It reminds me, I've got to dig that epic army out. I was going to be chucking on eBay. I was telling you about. I need to actually let you know what's in it. I can't remember.
That's all right. You know what I'm like. I'll just buy it anyway. Can't say no. Can't say no. It's bad. Laura's. Yeah, go on.
Do you guys mind if we, because Miller sent a question during the week. I don't know if you guys saw it, and I'm actually really interested to see what you guys think.
Oh yes.
Is that
Oh
cool?
yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah, go.
So basically,
Yeah, go for it.
I'll read out exactly what he said though, because it made me laugh. And that was hang on, I had to find it first. Basically,
Why is Ken so cool, and can you be more like him?
I will try to be more like Ken.
But that would make us all laugh out loud, wouldn't it?
Come on, here we go.
It's the film one.
Basically, it was if you could be the bystander in any battle throughout history and see how it was fought and actually unfolded, which would it be? So not actually taking part in the battle, but on a hill watching it. And then in brackets, he put not in some sick love of violence kind of way. So if you could go and what basically just be
like God, like God mode sort of thing, like in Total War.
Yeah. Is what battle throughout, like what battle in history. And what and why? I think he said it's something that gets asked in War Games Illustrated. They ask people in that. But yeah, I thought it was a really good question. So I don't know. What do you reckon?
I got 2. Battle of Jutland. Naval.
I'm just checking because I want to make sure I get this right.
Yeah, Battle of Jutland for the First World War for the naval stuff. And also the Battle of Britain with the aircraft, if it's like a God mode sort of thing. If I could see,
not just in a bystanding play.
Yeah, if I can just float around and just see it from every point of view and jump into those 2. A land battle, that would be interesting. Maybe the Battle of the Somme.
You know, I would love to be able to see some of Alexander the Great's battles. Ipsus or Issus or any of them really, because I'm fascinated by that period anyway, and just his ability to, every battle he fought, he was heavily outnumbered. I mean, absolutely extraordinarily outnumbered in men, and yet he managed to completely annihilate his enemies each time. And with some amazingly innovative tactics over the day, doing things that nobody expected him to do. I think that would be absolutely fascinating to see how he did it, because I don't think we really know truly how he did it.
See these quite famous generals like Alexander or Caesar.
Yeah.
And these battles. My what about you, Steve? What was your one?
I had 2. I had 2. The first was Rorke's Drift.
Oh yeah.
Mainly because I grew up watching Zulu, and I absolutely love that film.
It would be interesting.
No, it's actually to be there and see it, ebbing and flowing. But the second, I was just checking because I wanted to get the name right. The Battle of Cannae. Just because I've watched it being gamed a couple of times, and I watched a documentary about it, and it was just such, from Hannibal's perspective, such a planned, set piece, executed battle that worked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of mine was one of
Yeah.
Hannibal's as well.
That's a battle they
Well, I
still
remember-
study at military college, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
people like West Point and Sandhurst, they still study that battle
Yeah.
because of, like you say, Steve, the way that he planned and deployed his troops to
Yeah.
absolutely do exactly what they did and had exactly the effect he aimed to do, which basically annihilated a larger Roman army, and literally.
I think one of the bits that I thought is right at the beginning, and he attacks. It's kind of a preemptive assault against the Romans before they've even had breakfast, so they're not in the best of moods. Then they've got to go pursuing the Carthaginians through an ice cold river.
That's
So you get to the other
that's
side.
what I was going to pick. That was my
Oh, am I getting mine mixed up here?
Trebia.
Yeah, I think
Trebia is the one where he goaded them across a river, which
That's
is one
the
of
one,
mine.
yeah.
One of mine too. And basically, the Romans went across it before Hannibal had his army well fed and rested and by nice warm fires, and he goads these Romans, like you say, across the river. So and all the sources say they're waist deep in water, and they come across and they line up on the other side, 50,000 odd provincial Romans, because they were not the best trained, because they were just one of the armies that had been left in Italy, because the other army was off in Spain, and Hannibal went over the Alps, and then he attacked them. But I don't know. My reason, because I want to see it, is because I wanted to see the look on this provincial Roman's face the first time he saw an elephant. When it comes, he's
now that yes,
they're freezing
I
cold.
love it.
They
Yeah.
must be on the verge of hypothermic. Surely, you know, they're hungry, they're cold. I mean, turfed out of bed, they've been harassed by Hannibal's cavalry, and then all of a sudden, it was sleet. Through the sleet, you see this thing trumpeting. It must be the closest. Someone said before, and I can't remember where I heard it, but think about it from their point of view. It's probably the closest they came to fighting actual monsters, in their opinion.
Yeah.
You know, and because like your average Roman, who'd been because at that point it wasn't someone might correct if I'm wrong. I don't think it wasn't as a professional army, was it? Or as much it was mostly levy who'd been raised. I know you had the Triarii, the Principe, and the Hastati, but I think there was that lot had been freshly raised. So let's generously say that they'd maybe travelled about in Italy quite a bit. They probably might have heard of elephants, but probably thought it was all crap.
Yeah.
And then they come charging out of the sleet at you, and you're freezing.
And they look
I think
very,
that's a good one.
very
It must have
mental.
been a bit like the First World War. First time they saw tanks.
Yes.
So it must have been a very similar kind of feel
Yes.
as they come out of the smoke and the pre-battle barrage and any kind of smoke that's been landed, and then a great big metal thing comes at you which you can't kill. Must have been a very similar.
Yeah. Why won't it die?
Why won't it die? Yeah.
Yeah. Why won't it?
No, I've got.
Yeah.
Well, that was mine because I had trouble picking up. So yes, so Steve was on the same track as Trebia because Hannibal was just. You just want to know, like he just ran rings around them. And then my other one is okay, so it's Wars of the Roses, but it's Warren Rabbit has actually said Towton, but it's not. I would like to see the Battle of Mortimer's Cross, which was pre-Towton. And that's when, so 6 weeks before, Richard Duke of York has been killed. So Edward, soon to be Edward IV, has inherited that title. So he's majorly pissed off. His younger brother's also been killed by the Lancastrians, and Lancastrians now think they're going to have a pretty easy time of it. So they're out in Mortimer's Cross. You have Owen Tudor, Jasper Tudor, and Jay's going to kill me, but there's an Irish guy, and I can't remember his name. And I'll have to look it up. So they rock up thinking they're going to have an easy time of it, and then you have Edward of York, Earl of March, and he's in some say black armor. He's 6'4" out of the armor. To put him in the armor, he then sees 3 suns in the sky, which he uses to his advantage and tells his men that's the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, and God support us. And he's got a vendetta, and he absolutely smashed them. Absolute, it was just wholeheartedly a massive crushing defeat. And there must have been a point when the Lancastrians saw this giant in black armor smashing his way, because he was always known for getting in the middle of it. and they just went, we've made a mistake here, lads.
Why did we do this?
We've gone messed up. And
Wow.
he didn't. And then of course after that he took the crown, and then Towton happens later where he was stuck in there. So I just think that was his first, he'd already won the Battle of Northampton, but with Warwick's help. But that was his big Mortimer's Cross. I thought would be just quite a. It's not a massive battle, but it's one that I think would just be really interesting to see this guy suddenly go, yeah, I'm in charge now, and just smash it.
I think generally any of those sort of early battles that you haven't got an awful lot of evidence. There's not much written. You know, there's sort of written from the victor's side. But you don't really have any clear idea about how the battle went or what exactly happened. It'd be absolutely fascinating.
What about Custer's Last Stand? What about Custer's Last Stand?
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Do you know? I have a book of famous quotes, and my favourite one is Custer's. Do you guys know this one? Well, there's this really famous quote that says, "There's not a force in the world that can beat the 7th Cavalry." And he gave that to a newspaper like a couple of years before or something like that.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Might want to rethink that one, Custer. Might want to rethink that one.
Some guys on here have said so Gettysburg, someone said. Warren Rabbit said Towton. Nick Games says the Battle of Lurtzen. That's 30 Years' War. Is that when Gustavus Adolphus died?
Yeah, it is, I think. That's an interesting one as well, actually. Yeah. Actually, some of the English Civil War ones would be really interesting to see as well.
Yeah.
You got
I said Edgeware. Edge Hill. The whiskey kicking in. Yeah, some of those would be really cool to see.
He said, 30 Years' War, and then just mayhem.
So Millock had a variation on this, which I liked. He asked the other night he said to put on the stream. So, if you could be an extra in any war film, what would it be like?
Oh,
do you have to like the film? Is this a judgment on our film choices?
I hadn't even see how devious you are. I hadn't even thought of that. No, I don't think so.
It's because it's I don't know if it's, but that Alexander film wound me up. I don't, because what you say is it's a 3.5 hour. I think I can't remember. It was long, and I don't understand how you could take one of the, in my humble opinion, one of the most exciting characters from history, one of these, and make it dull.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah. That said, the battles were okay.
The battles are okay. Yeah, I love it that he had to put subtitles at the bottom to say where in the line they were. Macedonian center, Macedonian front line. He got the scale right. That was cool.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think.
For me, the one that would have to be the Battle of Waterloo, the classic Battle of Waterloo film, because I just would love to have been, because there wasn't any CGI. They used real soldiers,
Russian conscripts,
Army, I think it was, and they basically refought large parts of that battle using real people. And the idea of, there's all that. I don't know whether it's true or not, but the story that goes around from that was that they had to have multiple takes of the French cavalry charge on the squares, on the British squares, because even though the Russians even the soldiers knew that nobody was going to get killed and nobody would be harmed, they wouldn't stand with all these cavalry rushing at them, and then all turned tail and ran off. And even though it was a film,
it should be an amazing outtake, because that's when you have that really nice overhead shot, isn't it? That'd be amazing if there's an outtake and they're all just fleeing. That would be great.
What should have happened?
I need that. I can then cut that in with my Black Powder games. Although that's never going to happen. They're never going to run.
They're never going to run. No. I thought that would be absolutely stunning to see that.
That's quite good. I'm quite stumped.
I mean, the other one I thought was pretty good. Saving Private Ryan, that beach scene in the beginning of Private Ryan when they're coming ashore. That's quite a scary scene. Would be quite amazing to be an extra in. Zulu would be another one. Be quite fun to be an extra in.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I'm trying to think. Possibly
Oh, we lost him again.
The last
Oh,
samurai.
look, he's in mid.
Oh,
licking paint. Get a screen grab of that
Print
one.
screen.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep on.
Hello, new. That's the new face now for the
We
plastic.
could just do an
Practical
amazing
Pros.
calendar. We could produce a wicked calendar.
Mine,
Steve's frozen face in various forms.
mine would be the Last Samurai. That's quite cool.
That's a good. Yeah, that's got some wicked.
That's an interesting one. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I hadn't think of that. Yeah, I like that.
I would probably say probably just because I think I'd probably say Kingdom of Heaven. There's some
Yes.
Jerusalem.
Yeah. So shame Orlando Bloom's in it.
That's one of the only films I actually like him in, and you have to watch the director's cut as well.
Oh! Now he's angry. Now he's angry. No.
No, oh no, not angry, but
Yeah,
I was angry when I went to see that.
No. Steve was angry. He was like,
I'm still having problems here.
You're
Yeah,
frozen
you
in a
just
particularly
froze
flinching
completely.
pose.
Yeah, we've got it. Don't worry.
I'm gonna.
oh, here we go.
Oh,
He's gone again. There he is. He's gone.
Nick Games has put one out, maybe a tad controversial. An extra is a Roman picking his nose behind the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. I don't know if that counts as a war movie though.
It's a
Yeah.
little bit controversial,
okay. Controversial there, but yeah.
but it's a
Was
Monday
that from
night.
Life of Brian?
Yeah,
Brilliant. A classic film.
that was a really good.
Yeah, I don't
question.
know, really.
Miller's put some good stuff out.
I say we're going to have to commission him for regular questions, which I think is actually for that point. I must just say before we go any further, our regular Pete's little question of the week won't be held this week because his partner's not very well, so he's not able to join. So get well soon, Patsy.
Yes.
Hope you're well because he's a friend of the channel.
Absolutely.
Peter.
Absolutely, get well soon.
Yeah, so I don't know. There are couple of cracking questions there. I like that a lot. Anything in the chat from anybody? Got any thoughts?
Does Rambo count as a war film? Because it's just been killed by Rambo. It'd be quite cool. There's some very inventive.
Now there's a question.
There's some very
Who would you like
fictional
to
war
die
films.
at the hands of? There we go. Well, if we're going to go there, can I be the one that gets chopped by Conan the Barbarian or something? That'd be quite fun.
That'd be fine. Yeah.
God.
Which Conan though? That new one or the Arnie one? That's the problem.
Oh, I have to be the Arnie one. Got
Has
to be
to
the
be the Arnie
classic
one.
bad acting. Come on.
Bad acting.
Yeah.
That's I love that film. I taught my daughter.
Great
If you
film.
ask my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, what do you do to your enemies? She says, crush your enemies.
Good idea. Mind you, that's probably the influence of her mum, isn't it? More than anything else.
Yeah, pretty much.
He said the 95th to go and do the job.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
There we go. Good stuff.
94.
So I'm going to see what people are saying in chat. GP says, how to get your wife into wargaming. 1, show her burrows and badgers. 2, get hooked on Dead Man's Hand. And 3, get a long list of models we now have to buy and paint. Crap. Oh, right. So it didn't work for you then, mate. You suddenly had a whole load of extra painting job. Oh, well.
Oh dear.
There's no chance my wife will get into painting, into gaming.
No, same.
No,
No
same here.
chance.
It's never gonna...
History. We go to history. We went to Arundel Castle yesterday, and that was great. And she'll come and do all that kind of stuff, and we enjoy doing that. But yeah, gaming, no, not a chance. We even have a virtually divorced playing Monopoly, so the chance of playing tabletop is just no chance at all. No chance.
At least you know it.
Um,
I'm still in denial land.
Yeah, but I'm a bit ahead of you, Ken. It's my 25th wedding anniversary on Wednesday.
Oh,
So I've
fair
had
enough.
a long time to get used to what she's used to. So you know,
I'm 14 years behind you now.
Here we go.
It's our 8th wedding anniversary tomorrow. So, but apparently an anniversary game of Black. Actually, I haven't tried it. Hayley, your anniversary game of Black Powder. She says no. She said she would like me to mop the kitchen floor that I've been promising for 3 days.
I love it.
It's about to say I'll let
Oh,
you
jeez.
win.
yeah. Well, we know the truth of that one, Martin.
Yeah.
Oh, dear, dear.
Leslie said something about show me. Hang on, what is? Leslie says, Dom, have you shown Ken your 54 mils? I don't know whether that's a sexual innuendo. I haven't got any 54. I don't have any 54 mils. I mean, I've got.
I can vouch for that.
20 mils, 28 mils. I certainly haven't got 54 mils. So I can't go that off.
That's quite possibly the worst chat-up line I've ever heard.
That's
Hey, babe, why don't you show me your 54 mils? Keep them special.
I need a lot more whiskey before I'm going to get away with that one.
That's a good point. I need
Jesus
to.
Christ, no.
I need to top up. What whiskey is everybody drinking apart from Ken?
I went to get some Baileys, but I forgot. It's got whiskey in, it's fine.
I got this high quality stuff called Glen Orkey blended malt whiskey, 5 years old, which was all the way from Lidl. Because Lidl do really good stuff, and actually it was very cheap and it's quite tasty.
I've got.
We lost Steve again. Look, it's frozen again.
Gone.
That's a serious look. Get that one quick. That's
Yeah,
a serious look on them.
Oh yeah, hang on. There we go. I've got that one. I've got Monkey Shoulder, which is another
Nice.
blended malt Scotch, and it's far too easy to drink. My birthday was at the start of lockdown, and I got given. I think I had 3 bottles of this stuff through various people, and by May it had all gone.
Oh,
It was just too. It's just too easy. You don't. It's not that I sit there chugging it, but it's very easy to have a glass. That's a small glass of whiskey.
That's what I find that generally with whiskey. I think I'll just have a small one, and I look at the glass, and it's like half a pint, and I'm thinking, oh shit, that was bad. I know. But I'll just drink that and have another one. What's yours, Steve? What's your one?
Cardew Reserve.
Ooh,
I'm not.
Nice.
I'm not normally a single malt person. I'm more of a bourbon drinker. But I've had this for ages. I don't drink. This is the last in the bottle, and I think I've had the bottle for over 18 months. But it's a really nice. It's got a really nice peaty and a seedy taste to it. It's quite nice.
Many years ago, I did with my lovely wife before the kids were around. We did a trip to Scotland and did the whiskey trail. You can do it. It's a road through the Highlands where I can't remember how many distilleries there are, but a lot of them. And she doesn't drink whiskey, and I do. And we stopped into quite a lot of them, and I was extremely drunk because they give you samples in every tour you do. And my wife was driving and didn't drink it anyway, so I had hers. And so by the end of the trip,
You're a bit
I
pissed.
was completely paralytic. It was great. It was one of the most fun times I had. Also, we had a boot full of whiskey, which was also quite funny. There you go.
We have a distillery near us. We got that the English whiskey company. They're near us, but they do an afternoon thing, which is around the world in 20 whiskies or something like that. So you just pay them all your money, and then they just give you whiskey. So they give you Scotch, give you Irish, and then they give you some of that Japanese stuff, which I quite like. And obviously theirs. And then when you're sozzled, they give you a discount code to go in the shop.
Oh dear. Do you end up taking stuff away, Martin? Do you?
I haven't yet been. I was trying to convince my old man to go, but my mum is currently vetoing it. So because it's in deepest, darkest Norfolk, we've got to find someone to give us a lift there and then pick us up. So
yeah, it's a bit of a way to go.
Is that English whiskey any good? Sorry, I talked over Steve. Is that whiskey any good? The English.
I'll be completely honest with you. The last time I had it was the night before my wedding, and I don't think I was in an adequate state to be a proper critic on it. My best man's family had a pub, and he just went behind her and just started helping himself to drinks and putting them in front of us, and then his dad, because he had a job there at the time, his dad sacked him because he basically drank all the profit. So I think it's all right. I know they've got more than one type now, so yeah, I think it's probably worth checking out.
There we go. This is fast becoming the whiskey show. What's going on?
Is anyone?
Yeah.
Go on.
Sorry, no. Warren Rabbits just said he's drinking PG Tips because the hangovers are quite mild.
Yeah, GP says Suntory whiskey. I don't know that one either. God, I'm terrible. Well, back years ago when I was a student, I worked in an off license, and I used to know a lot about different whiskies and alcohols, but I don't now. You should just drink them now.
What's everyone like doing scale wise at the minute? Is everyone on 28mm at the minute?
I'm on 32.
Oh, you're doing 32,
I'm on
eh?
54. Do you want to see it?
I'll pass.
Oh yeah, 32 mil now, mate.
Oh right, okay. What are you doing?
I'm doing some samurai.
Oh, okay. Is that for that game, Bushido?
Yeah, it is. It's my favourite skirmish game, and it's got a really, really good combat mechanic. So, and this warband, because it's meant to be, well, it's basically 3 Ronin and their butler. That's the best way I can describe them. And they're the entire warband. So you've got 3 fighting models, and most warbands are probably about, I don't know, between 6 and 10 models. But you're going to be, and this warband operates as 3 people. So they've got that typical, samurai film anime. They take everything on, and it's only played on a 2x2, so you can make some really nice,
custom boards.
Yeah. So my one is a desolate rice paddy that's been burned, and like the shrine and the statues have all been broken. So there's not loads of cover. But my one of the guys I play against, he's made this really nice temple with lots of little islands.
Yeah.
On a 2x2, so it's just lots of little islands, and then weeping willow trees to like block line of sight, and then water effects, and like those lovely Japanese bridges. Bright red, things like that. So yeah, it's just check it out. It's wicked. Sorry, I just kind of jumped.
No, that's all right. I'm still waiting for my 6mm order to come through. Looking forward to that. That'd be quite nice. Get that through from Bacchus.
28mm Napoleonics, hence the alcohol intake.
I've just painted a black line over this guy's forehead now.
Oh god!
Oh, I've painted 6 greatcoats and washed them so far. So yeah, a nice start.
Maybe that's the only way to paint Napoleonics for you, Steve.
Too much.
Yeah.
He's protesting too much. Secretly, he loves it. He loves it.
The thing is, I want to be able to enjoy painting these. It's just
you can't. I'm putting these horses together and thinking, shit, there's a lot of horses here.
They got barding on them, the horses.
What?
They got armor. Do they have other horses armored?
No, they don't look like it. They look like they've got.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. They've got stuff on their backs, but it doesn't look like proper armor. It's like, I would say is it cloth? And I don't know. It might be armor. Let me look. Let me look on the box. What does the box say? No, they've got like it looks like fabric.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right because you can just chuck some, contrast on that.
Yes. Yeah, I think it is all. I don't think it is actually armor. No, it's not armor. It's not armor. No, not that. Oh, actually, hang on. I think on the other sprue there's bits of armor you can glue on, which would not be great wherever they. Oh shit! What have I done with them? I've left. I'm not even drinking. The freaking hell.
You are so disorganised tonight, Ken.
Oh.
Yeah, oh god! Can you imagine the evil dwarf master drunk? God damn.
Oh no,
I imagine it. I feel like it needs to be witnessed. And
oh no, there is some clip-on armor, so I can put horses with clip-on armor. Oh dear, might have to do that. Would they been armored though? Chainmail. Late 100 years, yeah, late 100 years war, yeah, yes. But then, do I put mounted archers or do I do knights?
Well, the mounted archers wouldn't have armor.
No. I'm just thinking rules wise. Nah, I'll go mounted knights. It's another unit then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
talking about rules, have you checked out those new rules that were on the War Games Illustrated? Was it Never Mind the
Never
Bill
Mind the Bill
Hooks?
Hook.
Yeah. You had a look at them yet?
Yeah, I have. I've read them, and I'm quite eager to give it a go. I'm very intrigued. I feel like it's going to be so the game we're going to play on Saturday will be still using Hail Caesar, because that's the system we've started with, and I'm happy to, I want to, we just want to play a game and know how to play it rather than one that we don't. And I'm interested in it. It's card activation similar to like Lardy games, and Muskets and Tomahawks.
Oh yeah.
Different sort of, but similar to Hail Caesar, different ratings for commanders. So it's between 1 and 3. So a rating 1 commander is considered rubbish, and he only adds 1 dice to a combat that he's taking part in, whereas a 3-star is better. So you mix all the commanders together, and then you draw them out. But what's interesting in it is that you can keep. I need to double check this bit, but as I understand it, you can keep on moving your units around the battlefield until someone starts attacking. And when they attack, that's
the
when
maneuver phase goes on.
You got this whole thing. So
that was intrigued me.
You could run a unit of cavalry all the way around the battlefield behind someone, but the moment an arrow is loosed or a combat, that's when you start going into the activation,
the tactical stuff,
which I'm really intrigued by, because when I'm reading it, I can't see how it's going to work, but from what I've been reading, everyone says it does. So I'm really intrigued to see how that plays.
Your opponent
it's funny
could
you say
stuff
that.
you
That
over,
was
couldn't
exactly the bit got me excited. That really, I thought that's really interesting. I've never seen that mechanism before, where you just keep going, because it's literally you take turns, don't you? Doing
I move, you move, I move, you move.
Yeah. So as you say, but you could repeatedly move the same unit over and over and over again if you wanted to,
or you could slowly bring your line forward. It's that you could.
That's yeah.
You could
so
run
you could
your
grab
a
ford or something with a group of archers or something, and then bring your line up slowly behind it.
Yeah.
But the moment your enemy approaches and fires an arrow at you, that's it. Then it goes into normal.
But it's a little bit like with Steve was talking about Hannibal. You can go forward with your unit, your cavalry, ride right up to the Romans, or in this case, whatever, the Lancastrians. And you can freely do that, and then they attack you, and then you go into this activation, and then sort all that out, and then you go into the next turn. And so on. So it looks good. It's it's large skirmish, so about 100 figures aside. So I mean, I've got enough for it. I mean, mine are all multi-based, so it does require. I'll have to keep track of wounds, but I don't mind doing that because I do that anyway. It's something I'm interested to give it a go. Considering it's a free rule set as well, that I think that's bloody good, because I've bought rule sets that are a lot. That are not as well put together and well play tested as that seems to have been. I think it's worth a check. And I can already see on the Facebook group that there are some people who are making mod, or I think they're planning on modding it for 100 Years War or for earlier. And all you have to do is just add some cards. That's it. All you got to do is just make some event cards. For your period. So in that Wars of the Roses one, there's a lot of treachery. It's like, just take command of this unit, and they attack someone of your choice rather than that. So if you want to do something for the Romans or 100 Years War, you could say, I don't know.
It'd be very simple to do.
Yeah.
I have to say I've printed them out and laminated them ready to. I'm gonna have a go. I think we're gonna have a go on them Tuesday, hopefully. Because I was like you, I was fascinated by them, and they sort of got me when they were describing them as being inspired by Sharp Practice and Muskets and Tomahawks. I thought, well, there's two of my favourite systems at the moment.
Yeah.
That had me hooked straight away. So I'm going to give them a go and see what they're like, because they could be quite good. Some of the special events are quite fun. As you say, I don't think it would take a huge amount to adapt these to any period, really. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued by them.
No, you could just like Martin says, you can just make up some house rules, can't you? Just if you want to do different bits and bobs, just to add them to different periods. But then you could also, in the group, you could also like let people know what your house rules are, because it gives other people chances to use them, doesn't it? Other people might be looking to do that sort of thing. So no, it's definitely one of those.
Well, it's got another one of those quite active Facebook communities already, so I imagine there'll be new variants of rules and things going up from them over the next few weeks and months as people start to play it. Probably starting with other periods of the medieval period and then moving on out. So I think it could be really interesting.
Are they
Apparently,
actually?
Leslie said Crossfire works in a similar way with that activation system.
Yeah.
I was going to say that Crossfire works. I've never played it, and I wanted to pick up a copy of the rules, but the cheapest I could find them was £30 on eBay, because they're out of print at the moment.
Really?
But Lloyd from Lindy Beige, he's the big Crossfire player, and he's got a lot of videos on his website explaining how the rules mechanics, and it literally is. You move and move and move until you encounter enemy troops, so a shot at. It looked a really good system, and there's no measuring tapes in Crossfire either. There's no measurements. It's just dice and movement. That's it.
Wow! So you just pick up your figures and move them. How extraordinary!
I don't know about that.
Martin's found his bases.
He found his limits.
I don't like to say I don't count every inch and every half centimetre, but that I might start twitching a bit.
Oh, we found Martin's base in vehicles. Yeah. Here's your base in vehicles, mate. Now you know how I feel.
Do you know what? I've never based any vehicles apart from flyers, but having seen what Steer done, I'm actually giving serious considerations going back to my Shermans and basing them all.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
King Matt's Superior.
Disgusted then.
We all know my feelings on it.
I know he went all quiet. I feel like soon we're going to tip him over the edge.
What, tip him over the edge so he goes and buys some stupid jumper or something like that? That would never happen, would it?
Is someone? Yeah, but someone else is meant to be having a jumper. Has it not arrived yet?
Yeah. Well, it might be that jumper apparently hasn't been dispatched.
Oh, okay.
and an email got sent about said jumper, and there hasn't been a reply yet.
Oh, okay.
Tactical. I love it.
Gotta love the Chinese. Oh dear.
So King Matt's here. He's been doing, like I say, I've been watching his streams.
Matt.
He's been doing a load of streams, so they've been a laugh to watch. And Warren Rabbit says Cavalier books sell Crossfire. That's where he got his.
Ooh.
There you go, Steve.
And Miller has just talked to you and said, "Has Dom asked my questions about the movie extras yet?" Yes, and it stumped me.
That got them all, Miller. It got them all.
Yeah, we've just been saying if you're still here, you've had some really good questions, and we're
going to commission you. Can you talk to our agent Ken, because he'll sort out the money for you. It's all fine.
It's fine. How do you take it? Plastic, resin, metal?
Napoleonic
models. Mate.
Yeah, Napoleonic, medieval. What's the
currency? Yeah. Nah.
Who else we got? Paul Richardson's in the house. Hey mate, how you doing?
Hello.
John Crome said he's painting 28mm French General. Oh my god, I can't say that. Delone, including a tiger skin Charabet. Oh my god, tiger skin. That's going to be a nightmare. David Baker says Vimini Ridge. I don't know whether that's one you'd like to have seen. I guess there wasn't a film of Vimini Ridge, was there? I don't think so. It's been in films, but I don't know. So it must be from a battle that you could witness. Yeah, all right. I also got a question from Leslie. So this is kind of a bit weird thing because there aren't really any conventions or competitions or anything like that happening at the moment. But he said, what's our views on clutter on display on participation games at shows?
Ooh,
I guess it means all sort of all the bits and bobs around the games, like the dice, the rule books, all that kind of stuff. Does that get you a goat, or you don't care?
I like to have as much as possible have it clear of clutter.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's at a show, I guess if most of the time I see that there's a table or an area at the end. What annoys me is when I'll be going along to see, and you've got to say. So I remember seeing the Battle of Lurtzen actually, and that was at Warlord HQ on one of their open days, and it looked wicked. But what wound me up is that there were loads of laminates like on the battlefield over the scene, over the fields and that, and they weren't even playing yet. They just set it up, and it was just like a display at that point, and that just really irritated me.
Yeah.
That just annoyed me because I wanted to take a photo of it, and part of me really wanted to just lift it up. But I thought, obviously, if I touch that laminate, someone's gonna like smack me one.
Yeah. I get that entirely.
Yeah.
No, when we play Bolt Action, we have a separate table at the end of the table where we roll dice. We have rule books, cup to cup. We don't allow anything on the table that shouldn't be there. The figures and the terrain are there. We don't roll dice on the table. We don't put rule books down the table. Everything's got to be done on this little table.
Ooh, that's extreme. I like it.
Yeah. Found something Steve doesn't like.
Yeah.
I don't like clutter. I like things to be ordered and in place. And if anyone so much as puts a can of Coke or a drink on a gaming surface, I can't relax until it's gone because I know someone's going to knock it over. How
to annoy Steve?
I've had many games. We had a board game once, and a Jaeger bomb got dropped all over my board game, and I never played that game again because it just made me angry every time we got it out the box. So it's never been played, and it was a complete accident. It did do to happen, but did
Haley drop the Jaeger bomb?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why it's a complete accident. You went straight to the defense. You went straight to the defense.
That's why we're having our 8th wedding anniversary tomorrow. It was an accident. I understand.
It was an accident. Yes, dear, it was an accident.
Yes, you were not to blame, even though you dropped it over it. Definitely not.
Thing that used to get my goat, it was more X-Wing tournaments. So there's an unwritten rule that you do not touch your opponent's ships unless you ask them to help you with a maneuver or something.
Yeah.
But in a couple of games, I came across people who, like, when a ship died, would hand me my own ship because it had been killed. It's like, no, you don't do that. You don't touch my ship. You don't touch my dice. I'm coming across as the right proper psychopath tonight, honestly.
Fucking great for a change.
Must be the whiskey, man.
But no, I think that was just that's just tournament etiquette. You don't touch other people's figures.
Isn't that just etiquette anyway? I'd never pick up someone's figure without asking if it's okay. Especially because I'd always try and pick it if I ever did. You pick it up by the base. It always winds me up when someone grabs the model and then lifts it up like that.
Found another thing that's annoyed him. That's great.
I'm feeling very normal.
Yeah, so am I. It don't bother me. We were playing the other night, weren't we? Done with it all on the table.
Do you know, I'm different. So if it's a friendly evening game with your mates or down the club, I'm not so bothered about any of that. The dice on the table, bits of paper on the table. I'd rather it wasn't because it does look better. But I'm not going to get really arsy about it. But at a show or a competition, I can sort of understand that. And I tell you, but what does really bug me at shows is people not talking to you when they're putting on a demonstration game or something. And you have all these groups of big blokes, generally big blokes, crowded around the table playing a game at a show, and you're genuinely interested and you want to know what they're doing or what systems they're playing, whatever.
Just annoy you.
And nobody pays the blinded bit of attention, and they're just playing their game. And I think, you're here because you're demoing a game. For fuck's sake, demo it. Talk to us, tell us what you're doing, and that's the whole point. If you wanted to do if you just wanted to play the game with your mates, then do that down your club on a whatever night it is. That annoys me. Again, my one experience of doing a demonstration or participation game at Salute years and years and years ago, we spent the entire day just talking and going backwards and forwards and helping people out, explaining the history of the battle and what the figures were, and that was the whole point of it. Otherwise, why are you doing it? It does annoy me. Really.
But you want to get people into it, isn't it? You want to get people into the game and be inclusive, not exclusive. That's the point.
Exactly. Yeah. Bimini was the World War One Canadian battles. Yeah, I know the battle. I just didn't know what he was referring to about Bimini. Anyway, sorry. That was sorry, Leslie.
Miller has asked a question, but it's about whiskey. He just says if any of us tried it says if any of us tried Highland Park 12-year Viking Honor, highly recommend. If not, just got the bottle. No. If not, get the bottle. If nothing else, I've seen it. It's the one with the axe on it, and it's got like all the nice sort of patterns. I have seen it, and I was just going to buy it just for that. It's like, I like that, surely. And then King Matt's basically just agreeing with him. So there's a lot of whiskey chat, so that's good.
Whiskey chat's moved on. Good. We like that. Good stuff. Need a bit of decent whiskey. So apparently Delone was a Hussar general, had a prolific career fighting with LaSalle on the Danube campaigns. He ended up in Spain, was captured in 1810, imprisoned and died. There's who is it? The historic is it Napoleonic wargamer who does all those profiles on different generals from the Napoleonic Wars? I love all that. Those generals from the Napoleonic period are absolutely fascinating. There's so many characters in there. I love it. It's a bit like Nick's been doing them as well, hasn't he? On Medieval Warrior, of some of the, or starting to do some of the personalities from the medieval period.
He's
great.
It's quite interesting because I think people think because it's medieval you can't find that much out, but when you actually research a lot of it, especially on the Lords, there's a lot of it is known, and most of them came to really sticky ends, so you can find out some quite cool. So it's like when I was looking up about the guys I just did, and I painted up basically this unit as two guys who got killed in effectively
they were fascinating characters
in their nightshirts. Yeah, in their nightshirts. They didn't get. I could see that as a scene in the film. Someone running out in just a nightshirt out of a tent with a poleaxe, and then just getting taken out by an arrow or an axe or something before they even get a chance to to do anything. I felt a bit bad for them actually, to be honest. It's like, they could have at least got a fight. And I know my the guy I'm playing against now is made a model for Clifford for the guy who did kill them in their sleep, effectively.
Well, you'd have to, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he was.
I told you though. I said in your comment in the comments in your video, I think you've cursed that unit. They are doomed. They are absolutely.
Well, at least
doomed.
It'll be historic. If you want to, then at least people can't complain. They're not historically accurate. They're just gonna get annihilated.
No, that's it.
No, there is quite a lot of good information out there. You just gotta just mine it a little bit out of the internet.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with the 100 Years' War and that. I was realizing, if you're rich and wealthy, you're more likely to try and be captured, weren't you? Because ransom. It was all about ransom, wasn't it? Money, money, money. And it's like, any lords out there, lads, you got to capture them because you got to make me rich, you bastards. Every quote at the start of a battle is like that.
But that's the problem you see with the War of the Roses, because you see that's what had been established, right? So lords could be expected. They just put their hands in the air and then yes,
yield.
we're gonna be ransomed.
Yeah.
However, because the Wars of the Roses became such a grudge match that it started at St Albans, Somerset surrendered, thinking, "Yep, brilliant, I'm going to be Vince," and then they just hacked his head off, and then it just became a thing of just. I think it was something. I read one article. I think it was 75% of the nobility were either executed or died in battle in a 30-year period.
Well, that's the difference in the 100 Years' War and the War of the Roses, isn't it?
It became a really personal, and that's why I like the War of the Roses. It becomes a really personal, horrible little war.
Yeah.
Which all these little feuds.
Yeah, it's quite interesting as well. Yeah, it's interesting as well in hearing about the ransoms, because you'll find in battles that lords know each other and they're like, "Oh yeah, he had me ransomed for 5 years, so if you can capture him and things like that, he'd be happy and all that." And they like make little things. Some lords would say if they captured each other, they wouldn't ransom each other off; they would just let each other go without payment. It's just crazy, isn't it?
It's that idea of chivalry as well, isn't it?
Yeah, gentlemen.
And that just went out the window in later wars.
100%, yeah. But they were chivalrous to the French.
Also a way for the common man to make money, wasn't it? Oh God, you can't do that. For God's sake.
That's what I mean. They were chivalrous to the French, Dom.
Sorry, Leslie. Yeah, no, you can't do that. I think that whole period. I mean, that whole thing about that. I mean, the ransom. It was a way of for the common man as well to make money, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even just to capture arms or arms,
yeah.
Horse from a knight would have been just more money than they probably ever earned in their life in a normal and they just get it in one battle. But then the next battle they could end up
dead
on the wrong side, and that's it. They're finished because. Unlike they
ain't got no ransom.
Lords, they would they were just executed or taken on the other side.
Bill Royce quietly just said, "Not at Agincourt." That's quite true. That got really dirty.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
and the other thing, yeah. Well, French court archers, you weren't living. That's French court and English archer. You weren't going to be alive. So that's pretty much the case, but. Nice way to earn money, I guess.
I watched this program the other night, and it was about aftermath of Waterloo.
Oh yeah.
It said in the hours afterwards, all you could hear was the clink of pliers of people going around removing teeth.
Yeah. And rings. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Gold
I haven't even had my dinner yet. So I mean, I was completely caught off guard. I can't believe it's Monday. I don't know.
What's going on down here?
Paul says we have folding tables with dice trays, drinks trays, and room for the rules. Also folding directors' chairs, all the mod cons. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And John Crome says you've put on a game display. Surely it's common courtesy to explain to anyone interested what's going on. You would think so, mate. You would think so. You would think so. Sorry, cut you off, Monty.
No, that's right. No, sorry. So sometimes King. Hang on a second. Miller just said, "Does any of us know if we're doing the War Gamers Anonymous for September and what we're doing?" I think we might have already said. I will have to order something.
September. What is it this month?
Skirmishers for me. It's skirmishers or scouts. I think is the.
I've not done one of these. I've not done one of these challenges. So how does it work?
If you go on the Discord server, if you go to War Gamers Anonymous YouTube channel, there's a link to a Discord server, or I'll just send it to you.
I'm on it, ain't I? I saw you on it.
Oh yeah. You're on it. So just go to the monthly challenge tab, and then there's a vote, and you basically put an emoji next to the subject. They vote for it at the start of every month. And then whichever has the most votes, that's the subject for you to complete something by the next month and either submit it or do a video or something like that on. And I did artillery because I had that War of the Roses cannon just sitting there. But I think it's been a runaway steal with light infantry.
Funny enough, I did artillery too. and it's run away on skirmishers or scouts. And last month I did something else, and it was a runaway on cavalry. And it's like, oh bloody hell!
I was really surprised that
seems to be
cavalry
the opposite.
wasn't the very, very last thing. I was sitting there thinking there's a lot of sick people in the world.
That like cavalry.
Yeah,
I like how they act in
But yeah,
game.
I'm-
They're just annoying to paint.
they are annoying to paint. You're right.
I'm about to find
I'm
out.
doing some skirmishers for my not French army. That's what I'll be doing.
Dom, you will do a French army. It will happen.
No, they're not French.
No, but you will. You
No,
can...
the only French army I'm tempted to do at the moment is I
Well,
was
one?
thinking about doing a free French army for bolt action. Just
Oh,
'cause it
yeah.
just
Ooh,
appealed to me.
interesting.
But since not many of my gaming buddies play bolt action that often, and I've already got a whole load of bolt action armies and a couple more waiting to be done, I probably won't get around to that for some considerable length of time. But I did quite like the idea of it. I just thought it'd be quite interesting to model. I can't remember which book has the army in, but it's one of them does.
No. To be fair, we could have a game of bolt action
dear.
next. Oh no, we've got ACW to play next, haven't we?
Is that ACW we're doing this time? Good
Yeah.
stuff. All right, I'm up for that.
Yeah.
I played in ACW with my mate Jonathan last week. 15 mil. We played.
I think that's what we were going to do. Black powder rules.
Oh God, Thompson Creek or something. No, Wilson Creek. It's from the Black Powder book, and it was great to play it again. Really good fun. It's a good system for ACW.
Excellent. I was going to say to you, guess what? I start on call this Friday, so if you could do any day during the week apart from Friday, let me know. But if you can't, don't worry.
It's going to be tough this week for me, mate.
No, that's
Because it's
fine.
already Monday, and it's my wedding anniversary on Wednesday, and
Everyone gets-
Thursday I have to work. So
No.
I don't mind, will she, if Ken comes around for a game?
I'm sure she won't mind. I'll have a word with her. She could, I'm sure she'll
Just
understand.
just
won't she?
explain.
Women are
He's
always so
on. He's
understanding
on
about
call.
things like
He's on call. You
that.
gotta.
He can't come any other night, I'm sure she'll be fine. Yeah. No problem, mate. See you at 6, all right?
Yeah. I've
I'll have my
convinced.
bags packed because
I've
I'll be
convinced-
divorced by then.
I've convinced Laura, Martin. Laura's like, you can take the car.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, we just sort of a day. I was chatting to Haley about that, so yeah, she's all cool. So yeah, we'll just sort out the.
Did you get my other message about during the week?
Yeah. That's fine because I'm actually off that week as well, and Haley is as well. Just in case you need some, tactical advice from General over there. She said she'll be decorating while we play war games, but yeah.
Sounds great. Pizza. Mm. Oh dear, but yeah, we'll sort something out.
Definitely. Miller says Dom only does the French when they're the goodies.
They're never the goodies.
French are never the goodies. You're quite right. Yeah, that's very true. I think it might actually be something in that, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, but I wouldn't do them in the. I don't know. Would I do them? I don't know. It's hard. You can't do French.
Would you do
can
the
you?
Normans though? Would you do like the Normans? Because that's not.
Well, they're Vikings, really,
they're
aren't
Vikings,
they?
Yeah. So how do you class that?
Yeah,
I mean,
see,
when you go
I can rationalise that one. They're Vikings. That's fine. I can do them. That's no problem. In fact, that's a period I would love to do. Is the Normans in Sicily? I think that would be fascinating. That whole sort of mercenary band activity they did, where they sort of all went down there as mercenaries and then basically said, "Oh, well, we'll just take this country off you." I think it's absolutely fascinating. I'd love to do some. That would be a period be really interesting to fight. Never done it.
Oh,
One day, maybe.
speaking of bolt action, with the new Pacific campaign book coming out next month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I read one of the new editions in there, and it's like they just looked into my brain and did it just for me.
What's that then, Steve?
You can now include flamethrowers in regular standard infantry units.
Oh, that's pretty devastating.
Ooh.
That's
no,
pretty.
nasty.
That's pretty good for the Americans. I wonder how many tournaments would ban that list.
When you think about it, you can take flamethrowers as a standard standalone option. You can take 2 in some selectors. You can put them into a veteran engineer squad. Now you can stick them in regular infantry squads as well. That's just going to be. I have no words for how happy I was when I heard that.
I bet your mate was
I
like,
smell cheese.
I bet you were like, knee mortars,
cheese.
what are they? don't,
Oh yes.
don't worry about knee mortars. It's flamethrowers.
Yeah, taste my flame.
I mean, has anyone used flamethrowers in Baltac?
Yes.
I mean, they're difficult to use to get into position because they want to go a range of 6 inches. So to try to get them into, I mean, if they're alive when they're still there, but when they hit, I mean, it can end games.
It did.
It really can end games.
It did. It tore Liam's soul out of his heart.
You can get them off, then that's, they're amazing. But I always find that my opponent zeroes in on wherever my flamethrower team is and makes sure it dies. He will go out of his way. They'll be like, I've just got the parrots. I've just got this little flamethrower team working its way around, just trying to do something. And there'll be a tank just on its way to just try and sort them out.
Yeah, I think the last bolt action game I played a Stalingrad type game, and my opponent went all out for his elite veterans, and he charged them up the road, debuffed them, just to take out my flamethrower, and managed to throw the worst set of dice rolls you'll ever throw in your life. Missed it entirely, and then my return fire just took out the entire squad in one go. It's like, yeah.
Flamethrowers are great for buildings as well.
I did one I said the other week when I was playing against your mates Japanese, and I put a flamethrower on each flank, slowly worked my way down, and then used them both one after the other, and they both hit, and they both took out the squad. The squad they hit both failed morale checks and ran off, and 2 flanks collapsed in two goes of shooting.
I bet he loved you.
It was a thing of beauty.
Bet he loved you.
No, he wasn't too happy actually. No.
Flamethrower is always the one that you have to be a real friend to play with, because if you're not, then the guy's gonna fucking hate you and never play you again.
That's just completely reminded me of so my the hatred of this is vaguely relevant, but the 95th we were teaching some guys play Black Powder a few weeks ago. Yeah, and so we did like a 2 brigade introductory game with my mate, and the opponent snuck the 95th round, as they do, sneaky, horrible green jacket, do their thing, come around the outside, and they sat there just shooting the cannons in the back. So because I was controlling one brigade, this guy was controlling the other, and what he did was he basically rolled his whole battery forward so that they were facing the 95th. So there was 2 or 3 cannons. And then the 95th were just standing in front of a wall. So he fired with canister because he was at close range. So he only needed 3s to hit on, I think it was 6 dice, and he missed every single shot. He rolled dear. The guys we were playing about had to take a break because they were laughing so much. Like they did. I don't think they missed it, but they had to go for a little. Like they had to go for a little walk around the room. That's why I don't like them. They don't even have to be in cover.
I'm gonna have to play the French when I come up, Martin. I think.
Well, I was gonna say, I think what are you gonna do? Are you gonna do the French and annoy Dom, or are you gonna be the British and annoy me with the 95th?
I don't know. Well, hopefully we can do quite a lot of the day, so hopefully we can swap about. Maybe that'd be quite cool. But no, I'm looking forward. Cool, yeah. I am looking forward to it.
Bring some World War II stuff with you, and if we have time, we can try out that the little game.
Oh yeah, tell me what I need to make a list, because I could make it. I could use my home guard models, my dad's army guys. There's only about 8 of them.
Yeah, you could do. I've got like 10 basic. You only need like, I don't know, 10 up to 10 normal guys, and then like a couple of weapons teams. That's it.
Oh yeah. No, that sounds good. Oh, that's gonna be great. That's in 2 weeks' time or so, isn't it?
I know it's not actually that long. I better book the time. Well, not really.
You're the boss.
So
Yeah, no, I just need to tell people that I won't be there. Or is it just answering calls? Like, just
Oh, I've painted all my horses. No, painted? Oh, I wish I painted them. I've made all my horses. How many horses
Dom,
how many horses to a unit anyway?
I do 12. But that's
Okay.
just a nice number because you
That's
because
quite
if
well.
you're playing Hail Caesar,
Yeah.
which is what I do, I can then I either say 12 6 bases of 2 is a standard unit, or I can split that into 2 units of 3 bases for 2 small units.
Right, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can do. Dom, what do you reckon? Do you reckon he should be British or French?
Oh, he's definitely a Frenchman.
French.
Definitely.
I'll have to do some research. What sort of
PP Le Pew.
Well, it's the question: do you want the old guard, or do
Yes.
you want the 95th Rifles?
Oh, the old guard.
That's the trade-off.
I'll have to
Yeah,
get
so he's an old guard man. He's an old grognard or whatever they're called. Yeah, he's definitely
veteran.
Yeah.
I like the old veterans, and you know, but I don't. The 95th Rifles I love because of Sharp, obviously, and I love the British stuff. But you know, I've watched a lot of documentaries on the old guard, and it'd be quite cool to actually play them in your old guard minis. Because I think I'm going to go French for my Napoleonics, because obviously Dom's got a lot of British. It makes sense if I went French.
I've got British as well. So
Yeah, exactly. It would make sense if I went French. Who else can I go?
Okay, Ken. Somebody has to.
Yeah, exactly. Who else could go? What else could I do apart from French? There's
Prussian.
Do
You
Prussians?
can do Prussians.
Prussians
They
or
fought
Russians?
with the French and against them. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So
Ken,
Prussia.
you'll really enjoy painting the French drummers. Believe me, they're absolutely fantastic.
And there's also am I right in saying you know, I've seen a lot of black powder miniatures, and you've got dress uniform, and then you've got grey coats, haven't you? Am I
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
so grey coats I gather are a bit easier to paint than dress uniform. And
Steve.
Just a bit. Just a bit.
right, okay, and do the minute
That's what I've been painting tonight.
and the miniatures then?
Great coats.
Oh god, if you go dress uniform, then do you have to buy a different? I gather they're different sets, aren't they? Because
Well, no, I mean
Yeah.
Perry mix them, don't they? If in the French set, you
Yeah,
got
the
half-
Perry
half
infantry,
in greatcoats,
late
half in-
infantry have both. Yeah.
yeah,
and
so
you
that's
can mix
another
the
thing.
unit
You
in
got late and early, haven't you? So there's two different
or
bits.
Peninsula or 100 days. But I've just done 100 days. I'd never. I don't think anyone's ever going to care if you're using 100 days models in Peninsular War. Or the only thing that changed, someone's going to hang me now, but basically, the only thing that changes as far as the British are concerned, I think, is the colour of their trousers and the type of shako that they're wearing.
Sure they have,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then for the French, I've done the Italians. I mean, all my French are done up as 100 days, but I wanted to paint some Italians who weren't really in the 100 days, as far as I'm aware. So, but I wanted to paint Italians, so I'll
Okay,
use them together.
because they're after I've done these horses, that's what's next. Is the start of my French Napoleonics or Prussian.
There you go. People have chimed in. Austrian. You could do Austrians. Victrix make a
Austrians,
massive
yeah.
Austrian set. That's a lot of white and cream.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's
So
all right.
Leon's done Austrians, hasn't he? T66. He's
Yeah,
done.
he has, yeah.
He's done some wicked.
Yeah, but we got the best white ever, mate.
Oh yeah. Don't even talk to me about that because that's when my airbrush broke.
No.
This one, you mean? This stuff?
Yeah.
I raged. My airbrush basically just died, and I nearly threw it out the window.
It wasn't the
So,
paint's fault. It's not the ink's fault, is it?
No, I know. It's the nozzle's cracked, and I need a new one anyway. It's just not very.
Have you looked at the one I sent you? That's Sparmax.
Yeah, no, I don't. That one is that's on the list. I just need to just make sure the hobby fund is adequately stocked.
Oh, do you know another thing? We
Ken,
can play.
The one you should
Go on.
do, Napoleonics. You should play. Sorry, I'm just thinking about it. Because you're a dwarf evil overlord. The nation that's most similar to dwarves
French.
is the Russians.
Oh, the Russians. I was going to say
I thought
Napoleon.
you were going to say Napoleon. Then I was thinking, this is getting a bit.
Yeah, I thought Napoleon was going to be next.
On my
As
one,
if
got
I was going to be that
Austrians,
low.
Nassau in green, Swiss in red, and then Leslie says Bavarians in blue. There is a lot of choices.
So if you've
There's a lot
got
of choices.
so if I went French, I'm gathering it's mostly blue. But did they have regiments that had different colours and stuff like
Yeah,
that? apart
Swiss
from
wore
blue?
red. Yeah, Swiss wore red.
So
Italians
you could
white.
use the Swiss with them, yeah? Is that right? Were they like conscripts in their army? Because I don't know about the Napoleonic period per se. So if I was doing a French force, could I use them as like in the force? That's what I mean.
Ken, the ones I'm painting up now in the painting guide that comes with it, it gives you either the French option and the Swiss option as well.
Oh, okay.
That's in the Perry's infantry box.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we've just lost the internet.
No, you're right.
Oh dear. No, you're still there. You're still there, mate.
You don't mind.
Oh, he's frozen. Is he? He thinks
No,
he's dead.
he thinks we're not there.
Oh, he's gone. He has gone. Yeah, the premonition of that. Well, we're almost at 10 o'clock anyway. We are at 10 o'clock.
Oh yeah, we are. Yeah. Oh, he's
But,
coming back.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, your Frenchies. I tell you, if I haven't got it, I'll send you a picture of it. But because it's downstairs. But the Perry box set that you get, they give you all that wonderful artwork of all the different uniforms you can use, and in that is literally all the different varieties of French you could do.
Is that the
And
new
you've got
new
the
one?
Spanish, you got the yeah.
Hang on,
yeah,
I've got it right here somewhere.
Yeah,
And
it's
again,
downstairs.
how many would you base to a 60 by 40? Then 6 figures.
60 by 40.
Well, the
I do
way
6.
Yeah, basically, I'm doing 40 by 40s with 4 figures on them because that's as a French. A battalion in Black Powder is about 24 figures, and French companies were 6 companies per battalion. So that gives you 4 figures. So I'm doing it 4 grenadiers, 4 voltigeurs, and the rest fusiliers.
Yeah. I don't know where my sheet is.
And that's the next thing to make up is obviously you don't all you have it mixed, don't you? So you got grenadiers. How do you know what goes with what then?
Well, it doesn't. If you're doing 24 men, I just make 4 of them as grenadiers, 4 of them as voltigeurs, and just do the rest as fusiliers. I'm not really that bothered. I did more grenadiers in my. I just thought the grenadiers looked cool for the Italians, so I think I did about 9. I just thought it looked fun because I put them behind the fusiliers like they were pushing them forwards, making them first.
And have you got any tips for painting Napoleonics then?
We might have gone again.
I lost him again.
Oh no!
It's the fight going on his road again. That's the trouble. They're firebombing the place, everything. Tips on painting them. I think you just need to take it gently, take it easy. They're just no different. They're really no different to any other painting. It's just you got all the turnbacks and the collars and what I recommend, Ken, is decide what you're going to do and just look up what the uniforms are like for that particular regiment. Because the thing,
because I've got to look up the register. I've got to look up the regiment. So I've got to look because obviously I know British regiments. I know a lot of British regiments, but French is like a completely different kettle of fish.
I don't know. Say you did the 15th French regiment. They'll have a particular color. They'll have turnbacks a certain color. And sleeves one, so it's just a way of, although they're all blue, you'll know that the ones that have got red collars are a particular regiment, and the ones that are blue are another regiment, and it just gives you a little bit of variety. Also makes it a bit less boring when you paint, frankly.
Yeah. Well, that's what Nick
and like
James
Martin
said,
says, go for the Italians or the Dutch or whatever. With the
you can just
French
chuck
army.
in different brigades. I'm going to do a brigade of Italians, a brigade of Dutch, and then just have it, mixed in. So it's still broadly French. And Nick Games just says, do the uniforms take a long Black Powder looks great, but do the uniforms take a long time to paint? I think you should ask Steve, who's like looking down at the thing right there.
He knocks them out in about half an hour, doesn't he? I think he does. I'm sure he does.
If you break it down, it's taken me 6 months to paint 14.
Fuck.
I did those 3 last week. I painted 3 in 2 days last week, so I'm getting the maths sorted. But these Fusiliers I'm working on, I'm going to paint these 6 at a time. And to be fair, I've not put any white on yet, but these have gone quite well. I've not swore yet.
What's the easiest
these
way
are
to
my,
paint them? Would you say if I airbrush them blue, and then just went over and picked the details out?
If
That
it's
would work.
well, yeah, it depends. Yeah, the old guard that I did, I just rattle canned them blue. Then it was a blue wash. Then I picked out the details. Then when everything is done, Nuln Oil, and then just highlighted a couple of bits, and that was it. I could knock out a base in about 45 minutes for 6 of those.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just
Yeah, I
a
mean,
blue,
these are my,
it's a blue breakcoat, and that's it.
These are my Cleve guys, the Cleve Berg guys, and literally they were like you're saying, Martin. I grey prime them like I would normally do. In fact, sort of heavy dry brush them with white. Put a wash over it, then picked out the turnbacks and the collars and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the colour they got pale blue, and then highlighted the bits of white that I didn't want to look so dirty, and that's pretty much done.
So you base yours
Brilliant.
you base yours with 4 then, Dom. You do yours with 6, mine, do you?
Yeah, I used to do them with 4 because I did them in 4. I did some 4s and some in 2s because that's the way that Warlord kind of showed it being done. And then I watched Pancake's channel, Nathan Payne, who's got some wicked stuff. He was one of the reasons I started making videos actually. He did 6s, and I looked at it and I just thought that's so much easier because like when we have the game, you'll see you just pick up these bases and there you go. They're in March column, then they're in 6s already. I don't have to kind of fit one extra base on the end, and they're in line. I can't think of a time where I've needed them to be on anything smaller, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
So
my only thing with it, I like the fact that with the 4s, I can now use them for sharp practice because a group in sharp practice is 8 figures. So 2 groups, two lots of 4 gives me the 8 figures I need for that. So although they're multi-based, which isn't ideal for sharp practice, like you say, you can just mark them with a dice or a loop over them or something when they die. So that's why I've done them as 4s.
Yeah,
and also because it was an easy way of doing the company size.
Yeah,
I wanted to have 4 grenadiers, 4 soldiers.
Oh no, it sounds
I haven't.
Go on, sorry.
So no, I was saying because I haven't played sharp. I'd like to play sharp practice, but because I haven't done it, I haven't done that. I've just done them as 6s. Although, can I ask you your opinion? This might be a bit controversial. Although Steve might like this. So I've decided how I'm doing my Carthaginians for my Ancients October. I'm going to do about 12 to a base. I'm going to make big bases.
Interesting.
I'm going to base.
I like that. I like the sound of that.
I'm going to base them for Impetus. And it's still totally usable in Hail Caesar. And from what I read of Infamy, because I've got the rule book, is all I've got to do is keep track of wounds if I do it the other way around. So I know this figure. So, and I really like the idea of just do it like having like a line of guys and then maybe a couple of dead fellas. There's a bit of a gap in that line, and then bustling about. So I'm gonna go.
I
about
think that
12
would work really nicely.
About 12 or 13 a base is what I'm going to try, and then I might change my mind.
That would work really nicely.
The only thing it won't work for is Hage of Hannibal in Saga. That's the only thing it won't.
No, that I was going to say that's your one problem you're going to have with that.
Yeah,
because it won't.
But there is
work
60
with Saga,
figures in a box for that, so I could just.
Did you say
I'll make one and see how it comes out, and then if I don't like it, I'll go down I'll do singles and then do Sabbath bases, and then we'll see how it goes.
I think it's a good way of doing it. I really do, and especially for Ancients, I think it's very effective. Paul Richardson's off. He said, "Thanks for chat, guys. He's off now. Stay safe." I think we all got to go off now.
Yes, is it? Isn't it?
And,
just one more question while we're on.
Yeah.
What?
Go on then.
These box of Perry's cavalry, right? 12 guys. Why have I got 13 horses? Do I get an extra horse?
It's like the National. Maybe it just runs with them and wins.
Yeah.
Do I get an extra model?
Alan likes you.
Yeah, you might buy an extra one. They're done in 2s, aren't they? Sometimes so.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a lot of effort to clip it.
Yeah, it's just weird. Yeah, but I think I've got the guide to go with it as well. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've got the guide to go with it as well. Hey, that's 13
Just got the
guys.
golden ticket. You just got the golden ticket.
Oh, it's handy because I could use that one with the armor on as like a
A commander.
Does it?
yeah commander. Yeah,
Are you
Yeah.
sure it says 12 on the box?
yeah.
You sure?
12 miniatures.
Yeah.
It does say 12. It's quite right.
Yeah, if you got 13, yeah, that's a free commander right there. Get a couple of archers or men at arms, stick it on a base. That's a command stand.
Fuck it.
Bingo.
That'll do. Right. Do you want me to do the roundup then?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, since you didn't bother to attend the beginning, you might as well do the finish.
Right, guys. I might not be here next week, so I'm on call. Martin, Steve, and Dom, I'm sure, will be back to keep you entertained as usual. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again very soon on the Plastic Crack podcast. Bye bye for now.
See you
Thanks,
later.
guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.